Rip-a-doodle, and we're back. Flower Pot Radio, episode 1. Click. We're here with Lauren Light, and we were previously talking about lessons, and I was asking what the biggest lesson was so far in this creative journey, or just overall.
Yeah, I mean, overall, this is a big lesson. So I'm about to turn 35, and I've been just like reevaluating, and there's something about those big numbers. But a big lesson that came to me in the end of last quarter was on love, actually.
Ooh.
And how, like, in its most pure form, it's expansive. Like, and I'm not just talking about like romantic love, right? It's like familial love, platonic love, like, love for the homies, love for what you do.
Yeah.
It's expansive and it's abundant. So that, and I say all this to say, like, if I feel restricted, I'm not moving in love, or something there is awry, and I'm really seeking to, like, yeah, just call in more love in life and remind myself that it's big, it's expansive, there's enough room for everyone, showing love to the homies and other people who are doing things. So yeah, that was a big lesson for me.
Shout out to love.
Yeah.
What are some other values that you think describe the Lauren Light brand? Or just her personhood?
Yeah, I mean, the name Light, I do want people to feel like, they're surrounded by light, or when they're around me, I do want to, like, exude that. But also, like, when I think about the brand that I'm trying to build, the 3 values are empower, amplify, and impact. I really want to help to empower other people, particularly Black and brown women. I really want to amplify those stories. And the purpose of that is so that we, like, increase our collective impact on the community, honestly. So, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
What are some creative things that you feel like you can put those values onto?
So, I mean, the zine is a big part of that, for sure. I think that's like, one of the iterations of that. It's designed to amplify the stories of really dope women that I know, really dope creatives and people that are just really, taking shots on and bets on themselves. I think another version of this is, like, in my DJing, like, I make it a point to play artists that are not super well known, both by design and also because I enjoy listening to, music from emerging. I mean, there's so much music.
There's a lot. Yeah.
Right? Like, it's wild to me that we kind of, like, that there's even a concept of top 40.
Yeah.
Like, 40 is so limiting.
Nope. They bought their spot up there.
Yeah. That's not love, right? It's restrictive. So, yeah, I mean, I think in that way too. And then in just, like, my programming, like, Haven has been a really beautiful space, building this, like, open deck space. And again, that's designed to empower women who are coming through, trying to DJ too and make it happen out here.
Yes. I love the whole color scheme. I love that the place that you hosted at is also, it matches your vibe.
Yeah.
It matches what you're going for. It's like pinks and, like, femme and, like, creative. And it's expressive.
Yeah, it's a beautiful space. Shout out Jules, who is the owner of Mira Mira. And yeah, I was very fortunate to, be able to partner with her. But honestly, it's another product of just, like, women supporting women. She hooked me up with the gig early on that really, like, kind of propelled me in a way that was important. And, I've since, like, tapped in with her and, like, DJ'd some events. And yeah, she allowed me to host that there. And I'm grateful because you're right. It did really, like, fit the vibe. For sure.
Yeah, it's aligned.
Yeah.
What would you say are some challenges you face in this creative journey?
I mean, we talked about this a little bit off, air, but we get in our own way, like myself included, right? It's like I'm really trying to work to stand in my greatness and feel secure in that, not to be afraid of how big or expansive things can be. and to also not limit myself, because I'm realizing that when that has happened in the past, it's been my own doing. Yes, there are external pressures and whatnot, but I've allowed that to occur. So yeah, just being confident and being confident through the uncertainty.
Yeah, the uncertainty.
Because that shit is scary, obviously, right? Like it's the most uncomfortable thing for us as humans to not know.
Yeah.
And there's so much beauty on the other side of taking a leap into the unknown, but it's
new
risk too, obviously,
I like it. It's like you're either acting for love of yourself or you're acting in fear of yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you going to choose?
Yeah. And kind of, going back to this concept of love, like self-love is a big part of that, right? I mean, that's what I have tattooed on my hands now. And yeah.
Ooh. Oh, yes.
But yeah, that's part of it, right? Is like not limiting myself, and just like, yeah.
What are some of your top self-care routines?
So I'm doing my yoga certification right now. So like yoga is important for me. Mindfulness has become, like, meditation and mindfulness has become a really important part of my self-care. I can notice the difference when I start my day that way versus when I don't. It really does make a big difference.
Yeah.
And therapy. Huge fan.
Therapy.
Yeah. It's been a really important act of self-love. I heard somewhere that self-care is the manifestation of self-love, and that's just so beautiful.
I think that's true.
Yeah.
Would you say you're more of a sun person, like the heat, or like the cold?
And the sun, for sure.
Yep.
I'm from the desert, and it does get cold out there, but I love the summertime, honestly.
In the summer.
Yeah.
Yes. I like summer. Good time. Are you pool? You like pools, or are you more of an ocean person?
I would like to think that I'm an ocean person, but I've had
lakes or rivers. I forgot there's like more bodies of water.
There are. I do love water, but to go back to the ocean, like I went snorkeling like a few years ago.
You're so brave.
Those waves, it was intense. Like I left there, like I came out of the water, one, gasping for air, but two, like understanding and respecting the power of the ocean, because it's intense.
One time I went to Florida and I was just like trying to get my knees in, nothing crazy, but the strength, I was like, bro, it's kind of pulling me in, like, and then it gets deeper so fast. Like, what? I was like, never mind. Ankles.
Yeah, you're so right. But I enjoy being around water. Like Austin's nice in that, you can be in a neighborhood and catch the green belt. So I do appreciate that. Yeah.
What are some places you haven't gone to, but you would love to go?
Here in Austin?
Just anywhere in the world.
Honestly, I want to see the whole world. I really
Everywhere.
do. Like, I really do mean that. If somebody said some random place like, hey, Lauren, do you want to go? I would say yes. I will go to space. No, but I'm just so curious. It's interesting to me that some of us feel enjoy like staying in a place, and that's needed 1,000%. I'm the kind of person that wants to see all the different ways that people are moving and living,
I think that goes in hand with you want to push past comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. New experiences come with uncomfortability.
Yeah. I mean, I say all the time, growth happens in uncomfortable spaces, and now I'm at the place where when I'm uncomfortable, I can tell myself like, oh, this is where the magic happens. Like something is coming from this.
Time to elevate.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got the hang of this now. So
yeah.
What's next?
Yeah. And when you obviously, like to your point, when you're able to get to that point, the valleys don't feel like valleys so much. It's just like, oh, this is just the period that I'm at.
Yeah.
Like it's just cyclical at that point.
It's a part of the journey.
Yeah, 1,000%.
If you had any advice to like you, but 10 years ago version of you, what would you tell her?
To choose self. Honestly, 10 years ago, I was making decisions for other people with beautiful intentions. Like I wanted to help shift my family circumstances, and I, was going to medical school to do that. But when it didn't work out, I was devastated because I felt like I had let everyone down. But I also realized in that space that I wasn't making choices for me, I shouldn't say I realized that then. It took damn near 10 years.
You got to process,
Process, right? Like, also face it, I very much for a period of that time suppressed all of that, I think. Just didn't want to deal. But yeah, in unpacking that and like removing all of the layers, I feel like I'm just getting more and more close to like the 10-year-old version of me, which is beautiful because I feel like I'm just becoming more authentic.
Yes. I don't think we ever grow up.
I don't think we should.
I think that's a lie. I think it's a lie made up by
capitalism, probably.
Yeah. The same people who made up professionalism. Like, what?
Yeah.
What is to be professional?
Right. I agree. And honestly, I mean, to your point, like, I do feel like as I'm figuring things out, it appears to me at least that you're right. It's about getting back to how I was before all of these external pressures, right? Before society, before, life's. Which is why I think kids are dope.
Kids are dope.
Like, they really do have a beautiful view of the world because they've not been impacted
Everything
yet.
is so fresh and new,
Yeah. Their ideas are great. How they look at the world is beautiful.
You said you used to work with kids.
Yeah.
Well, you taught middle school. What did you teach?
Yeah, I taught middle school. I taught 7th grade history and then 8th grade science.
Ooh, history and science.
Yeah, history was an accident, honestly. My background was science, with the medical stuff, but they needed a history teacher. And I was like, I'll do it. But honestly, I'm so glad that I did that because, I taught mostly Black and brown kids. And so we studied history from the perspective of minorities.
Yep.
And it was so dope. The kids loved it. It was great. We all had a great time. But yeah, I also coached basketball while I was teaching. What? Yeah.
You were a coach?
Yeah.
What was the drill you made them do that they hated? Or did they like it all?
No, they didn't. I feel like the term that you use for this is suicides. I hope that they've come up with a better name. I know.
Actually, one time I trained with the basketball team and we had to do that. I was like, bro, what?
Yeah, were you going to touch all the lines?
Yeah, some people were getting like blisters on their hands.
Yeah.
Inhumane.
But yeah, my time with kids was so great because again, like they hold you accountable in a way that, and particularly in middle school, everything about what they're doing is exploring themselves. They're exploring the world. They're understanding their identity in the context of the world. They're testing boundaries. Their bodies are changing. Like it's such a crazy, chaotic, but like beautiful time in humanity. So I felt really grateful for the opportunity to experience that. Honestly, it made me look inward quite a bit because I was like, I can't be telling these kids all this shit and then I'm not doing the things. Yeah,
gotta abstain the information.
Yeah, so I was like, let me start going to therapy. That's really kind of what got me there.
What do you think was the the straw for you to get therapy? Like, was it just a sudden moment, or have you been thinking about it forever? Or
the shift for me was when I made the connection that the issues that I was having in like romantic relationships, I was also seeing in professional dynamics and in like other interpersonal relationships. And then I was like, well, there's one common denominator here.
Yeah.
So like, this is a deep rooted me thing. So I guess that awareness helped me to, realize, but I guess maybe it had to be through teaching though, because again, like, we had to teach social emotional learning lessons when I was there, and it was like 30 minutes a day. But we would talk to kids about all these things, like how to manage your feelings, how to use I statements when you're, dealing with conflict. And that's really what started to get me to like self-assess my emotional IQ.
Yeah, it's true.
And I was like, dang, I don't do these things. So I think and I'm just a learner, I want to be good at as many things as possible, which is why I like to like dabble in all sorts of things.
Yes.
So once I realized I wasn't the most emotionally intelligent, I wanted to be.
What are some book recommendations? Do you have any?
For emotional intelligence in particular, or just any book?
For that or just growth?
Yeah. So a book that I recommend that really like changed my life it's called Big Magic: Living Creatively Beyond Fear. And this book it gave me permission to see myself as a creative. Honestly, that's kind of what got me into like take the leap and start DJing. But it also taught me a lot about pushing past fear, which is important in creative spaces. And then another, I just will always and forever recommend Brene Brown. Shout out to her. She's here in Austin.
Hey, I'm trying to read more books.
Man, and she's got podcasts that are like really solid too. But I am just like, she makes the healing work and the conversations around shame and, all of her research really accessible to people, So, yeah.
What would you say has been your favorite place to DJ so far, or like just event that you've DJ'd,
Yeah. Gosh, there are so many, but I will say like my favorite DJing like experiences have always been where I'm able to just play what I want to play, honestly.
Yeah. The freedom.
The freedom to like be creative, truly. The sets that I've been doing at No Limit have been really dope. That event that I put on with Salia and Maul. So shout out to them. That's been really fun. I just played at Devil May Care last night, and shout out to them because they really let me just play. Like I had a 5-hour set, which is long, but I played literally everything from like funk to disco to house to, it was amazing.
Shout out to Open Format.
Yeah, it was great. It was such a vibe.
Are there any people you want to give a shout out to while we're here? Shout outs.
I mean, honestly, like all of the people here in Austin that are really just like, it's so cool. We were talking about this earlier, but it's cool to be part of each other's come up stories.
Yeah.
It's cool to be like building together and see people like growing. One person that I do want to shout out is Nikisha, Dope Reina.
Shout out to Nikisha.
Yo, she came through Haven, the open decks, and I hadn't had a chance to hear her before that. And I was like, oh shit. Like yeah, it was really dope. It was cool to see her do that, So like, yeah, shout out to her. She's really out here, like all of us trying to get it out the mud.
Do you have an artist in mind that you would like to give them the slot for this episode 1, Artist of the Week?
Artist of the Week, episode 1.
It can be anyone that inspires you or you think they're doing some really cool shit,
I mean, one I'll say right off the bat is Babe. Like I'm working with Babe ATX, who's like doing a lot of work to create gender expansive lineups and
they're putting in that work.
Man, and it's so beautiful to see. I mean, shout out Kelsey. She's only been doing it a year, which is wild to think about.
It looks good.
It looks
presentation.
Good.
Yeah.
I mean, she just did an interview with the Chronicle. So like she basically Austin famous at this point. Shout out the Chronicle. But yeah, so I'll say her. I mean, I just shouted out Dope Reina, like I will reiterate. Salia too, Slimmy Hendrix. She started DJing vinyl recently.
I saw that.
And she is a killer. But like, this is the thing about women DJs I'm learning is like, similarly to when they say like when women interview for a job, they only do it if they're like 90% qualified. And when men do it, they're like 60% qualified and they take the leap.
Yep.
That is true in DJing as well. Like confidence and gender is related. And what I'm finding is because of that, the women that are coming out and are DJing are killing it.
Right off the
because
bat.
they won't come out until they're like 90% ready to be out.
Yep.
So like it's actually really beautiful to see. I'm a big fan of all the baddies that are just in general, right? But like the ones that are DJing, like it's beautiful. I'm excited to see what 2024 looks like. It's so dope.
I know. Good numerology number too.
Yeah.
24.
Tell me more.
I don't know. I just feel good about those numbers.
You're like, they just feel good.
They feel good. It's like an even number.
Yeah.
Less, you know,
They're like,
an
what?
odd year. It was an odd year.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Shit's about to balance up. It feels right.
I dig it. I'm excited about. And again, like I've heard from the mouths of a lot of women, like them just like standing in their greatness or coming into their power, is particularly towards the end of this last year.
Yeah.
So I'm just so gassed to see like how that plays out.
I'm here for it.
You know, it's actually gonna be very dope. Yeah.
Well, are there let the people know where they can find you and what they can look forward coming from you.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm working on. You can find me at The Real Lauren Light. It's all my handles for all of the things. My website's thereallaurenlight.com. Same for my Venmo and Cash App.
Run it up.
Actually, I don't know about the Cash App, but maybe I should switch that. But what people can expect is I'm working on volume 2 of She an Issue, which I'm really excited about. Yeah, that'll be cool. It should be another 10 issues. And then I'd like to do an in real life showcase of all of the women that have been featured on there. It feels like, honestly, like an amazing talent show just waiting to happen.
Yes.
So, yeah. Those are 2 big things. And then I'm really hoping that DJing, just continues to open doors for me. Your girl would love to travel and DJ and,
I can see that.
do the event production stuff. Maybe take Haven on the road. That would be cool. Like an open deck situation.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I'm going to ask you something after this too.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah.
This is FLWRPOT Radio.
Woo. Shout out FLWRPOT.
And that is it.
Hey.